Good morning, my humanity family. I told you about that for years they are committing crimes against humanity, against me, this neighborhood, and they are imposing evil upon me, and they have my room's key, and they are spiking me and doing horrendous stuff against me. For more, because I said it is actually scientifically based. If you are in a closed place and you use even Trump, he was talking about Germany in his talk with Netanyahu, and Netanyahu is talking about trade deficits, and that they will not be used. They will remove all the trade barriers between America, and they are going to Israel. Israel is going to remove all the deficits between them. It's not that he made a chart in the Rose Garden. Trump, he made a chart in the Rose Garden, and he's talking about nations, amount of trade deficits between nations, America and the nations around the world. And he even imposed it later on scholars and the political commentators and the news channels and everyone on planet Earth. They are talking about nations that does not even exist on the map. The Trump administration imposed tariffs upon them. Even an island, a very remote island filled with penguins اللي هو بطريق, filled with بطريق. It has no human beings. It is like a place for penguins and such stuff. He imposed his administration. They imposed tariffs upon them, and so many other places that even does not do any sort of trade with America. I told you about, because I said I am telling everybody on planet Earth, Somaliland security and the sheikhs and the neighborhood, I was sodomized for many years by my family, relatives, parents, siblings, and everybody on planet Earth. I cannot open my windows. This morning, they filled it with a very stinky smells, and there was an army, because the army is part of this. Wherever I go, they are chasing me, about to kill me with the sheikhs, with the neighborhood, and they say, accept your destiny, this and that. And it is filled via a smell of swamp and something that is burning. It is filled with something that is burning and stuff like that. And you cannot open windows. I am wherever I go outside, I am searching for jobs or buying stuff. They are chasing me, insulting me, beating me, trying to kill me, and saying horrendous stuff, and saying, what is your price? You are ugly, you are old, you are this and that. And they insult me and say horrendous stuff. It is via my siblings, especially a mentally ill brother. And his sisters and relatives and everybody. He's an evildoer, haram. He even said, I don't mind, she's my mother. Do you know, as if he's a mentally ill criminal. His name is Muhid. He's a trafficker. The last day I was doing my exams, he filled the night with the military. I was doing my exams, and his doctor sister, they filled a night with a military with shootings. And she came from outside, and he was sitting in every night. It is like this. And he said to me, give your shoes, clothes, and all of them, they say this, and stay naked in your room. Don't eat and be and shit. My mom and my siblings and the neighborhood and the mosques and everybody, and even the maids they bring, all of them, they beat me, and they say, be and shit and stay naked. Throw all your clothes, give us all your clothes, bring the shoes, and they say, stay in the room, be and shit inside it. Is this and when I'm going to do wudu, they even deny me prayers to go to the toilet and do even wudu. Is this a family? I don't have anybody to support me or rescue me, and I don't have any money. The whole nation is about to assault me and do horrendous stuff, and I don't have any money to go to any place on planet Earth. I am cooking inside my room, and because I said carbon monoxide can give you sudden death, the military, their friend that is imposing such, the military sodomized me in Egypt and Somaliland, and the neighborhood and everybody on planet Earth. And the place is filled with a stinky smell and something burning. They say you will be shot, you will be burned, this and that. He even said, do you know, the stuff I use, this I use it for doing wudu, and going to the toilet and stuff. He said even that, go to the toilet barefooted. He's a mentally ill criminal. And don't do wudu. All of them is like this, and be and shit inside your room, and no prayers and no anything. All of them is, and even my mom is like this, and all my siblings and relatives and everybody on planet Earth. And he said to me, it was Ramadan. My mom said, I don't have this. I bought her new ones. She said, I don't have. And he said, give the one that you use for prayers to your mom. And I told him, and what am I going to wear? And he said, it doesn't matter. And even the shoes I use, I have one pair of shoes. I have this one pair of shoes. They said, you are not going to go outside. Your days are numbered. And the neighborhood said, because you refuse haram, you are going to die. And even your shoes, give it to this and that, and your clothes, and be prepared for the hereafter. And they are chasing me, the entire neighborhood and everybody on planet Earth. I wrote more than 200 articles, 200 and something articles. Go to my Substack, kindly support me and rescue me, and via any means, kindly find me a scholarship and a great country where I can study and work. I go outside of the house searching for jobs. Till this day, every day I woke up, I am studying. Why am I toiling? If I am not, and they say, leave notice for the future generations, they are going to inherit it when you die. You are not going to reap the fruits and the benefits of you studying. Leave notice and articles. It is the inheritance. It is inheritance. What inheritance? I am unable to find a job even. Trump is telling Netanyahu, we give you like, and this Netanyahu is saying we will eliminate the trade deficits between us and America. He says, isn't that amazing? We give Israel more than 4 billion, apart from the annual military budget that is given for security and the Iron Dome and stuff like that, and the highest military equipment. They give them 4 billion in aid. It is not included. Inside it is not included in military aid that it receives. I wrote an article about a guy called James Robertson. He's an economist, and I think he won a Nobel Prize. He wrote a book called Why Nations Fail. And he talks about in inclusive societies, there is something called, the Prophet ﷺ says, among his prophecies, آخر الزمان, he says, there will come at the end of time is Huthala. Huthala is الدربز it is like something that is not worthy. They will keep asking Lord Almighty for stuff. The Lord Almighty, he says it is like something not of worth, and they will keep asking the Lord Almighty for and praying and making a dua, and the Lord Almighty will not accept and grant them their prayers. ولن يبالي الله بهم. They woke up, they filled a place with a smell of swamps, smell of بلاعة, of this neighborhood. El guy who says we need, this is a swamp, el swamp needs you so much. He's a haram doer. They chase me in the market and when I'm searching for jobs, and they say horrendous haram stuff that is not permissible in any sort of religion. It is punishable by death, what they are talking about. So this is another guy. He's like James Robertson. He wrote this book. It is this, I went via his material and nobody, and he won a Nobel Prize, I think. His name is Eric S. Renant. How rich countries got rich and why poor countries stay poor. And he philosophized and theorized a theory that does not exist. For a tiny niche, for the World Economic Forum, for Klaus Schwab. You will be poor, and you will be happy. So this James Robertson, he's talking about why nations fail, and he wrote this book with another guy, and he won a Nobel Prize on it. And he says because in inclusive societies, and he talks about Thomas Jefferson and the Americans were a patent nation, and the taxes and Annex and Z, and he's talking about nations that are dictatorships like Zimbabwe, and he talks about Robert Mugabe and how he stayed in power. This is the guy, Robert Mugabe. He created hyperinflation. I wrote this article when Kamala Harris was talking about. I wrote even that article. There are two group of economists. They say, how can you fix inflation? Do something to the interest rates, or you do something called price gauges, اللي هو you make prices of a stuff fixed. If you make the prices, this Netanyahu even was talking about the market free trade and free and fair trade. If you do not make a market free and fair trade, you can, and you make price gauges, and you يعني set fixed prices for stuff like what is his name, the wealth of the nation is Adam Smith. The market will regulate itself. The market regulates itself. So I wrote this article about price gouging, and he talks this James Robertson. He talks about Zimbabwe, and he says he's the luckiest man, Robert Mugabe. He created the hyperinflation. People were carrying like piles of billions and millions of the Zimbabwean currency to buy breadcrumbs, leftovers of the bread, and nobody on planet Earth within Zimbabwe was able to afford even buying leftovers of the devastation that occurred because of hyperinflation. Even now they are saying is what is going to occur within the United States of America, something worse than the Great Depression. What Trump did. They were making drums this morning, this military, Somalian military, and they filled the place with the smell of the bula'a. is what is going to occur within the United States of America something worse than the Great Depression? And this James Robertson, he talks about in the democratic nations, in the Western nations, it cannot be like Zimbabwe, where even you can buy favors. You can you can manipulate the system and the government and tilt it for your favors. It is similar to what Elon Musk is doing every day. You cannot buy a democracy. He's saying, James Robertson, he's saying, and he's talking about inclusive societies and exclusive societies. And even I read an article when they broke my laptop. I was reading articles of the criticism about his book. Bill Gates wrote an article and he's talking about المايا civilization اللي هو الإنكاس that existed in Colombia, Mexico, and those places in the Latin America. And he's talking about climate change occurred. He's talking about Bill Gates is saying the devastation that why Mayan civilization does not exist. It occurred because the society the Mayan civilization was hit by climate change. It is a lie. When the Spanish colonized the Mayan and the Incas, they came, the colonizers, they changed their agriculture system to what the Europeans eat as a civilization, as a civilization. The Mayans and the Incas and those people, they had their own agriculture and food system that was unique to them. The Spanish came, they are not it occurs in every society that was colonized. They changed the agriculture system to what they eat, and they wanted to import it to their other colonies they were colonizing and their nations and their Spain and stuff like that. So they depended upon corn and stuff like that, الميز, الذرة and stuff like that. They were Kunwa, something called Konwa. They were dependent upon Konwa and stuff like that. And the Spanish, they changed their agriculture system. And this was among Bill Gates doesn't billionaire of the world. I talked about even in one of the articles. He said, I'm going to make something worldwide called germs. It is like something that responds to international disasters related to climate, health, pandemics, epidemics, and stuff like that. And he said he is going to employ political scientists, philosophers, doctors, engineers. It is like a rapid response. Wherever they will be like the army, whenever a disaster and a crisis occurs internationally, like the army, they will be deployed. And people who studied media and journalists and everybody will be employed by germs. And he said that, I think, in a TED talk, and also when he went every day and night to Davos gatherings of Klaus Schwab. You will be poor and you will be very happy. Let them eat lentils. Let Bloomberg and he and everybody, let them eat lentils. So, and he is criticizing, and everybody is saying guy James Robertson or James Roberts, Why Nations Fail. His book is 100%, and he won a Nobel. Trump wants, he said, I deserve a Nobel Peace Prize more than anybody on planet Earth, but they are envious. They are not going to give it to me. And he was saying there were no fires when I was a president. In his last talk with اللي هو day before with Netanyahu, there was no fires. And he's saying Iran must come and have talks with the US in unspecified meeting and high caliber personalities will be there and this and that. And he is saying that. And they say a book of why nations fail. Even this book, I am going to write something about it. It is highly criticized, and all the theories in it, it is wrong. It is wrong. Because I said, if you inhale for years in a closed place carbon monoxide, you can have sudden death. The military is saying you visited haram with the sheikhs with X and Z, we want you dead. How many times I go outside of the house, the entire nation, they beat me to death. As if, and my mom, my parents, my siblings, my relatives, everybody is with them. I don't have anybody on planet Earth. And they are for, do you know? I was studying in a university called Franz Fanon. Statistics. This is among the most difficult sciences on planet Earth. Statistics. They say even doctors and engineers, I got my grade in anatomy was similar to the grade of the doctors. In 2021, ask Professor Saeed, he's a doctor, he teaches at Hargeisa University. My grades in anatomy was similar to the medicine students that he was teaching. My grades in statistics were the highest in the entire Franz Fanon University. And my mom and the sheikhs and the security and the military, they are imposing, and they say, I will take you to a place you will never be found for refusing haram and for demanding that you go outside of the house looking for job and university. They filled the place with the smell of the something dead and something burning and swamps. This is the equation. They say it is wrong. This is the equation of Trump. It is TI. They say this is trade ولا change in trade. They are saying something like that. I will go via it again. And then there is here there is Greek letters here, something like an E and something. This is there was here XI, I think XI. This is something Greek letters, something like Greek letters minus MI. This is they say changes in import and changes in deficits. This is changes in deficit and changes in importers, and they made this epsilon, well, I don't know, and this is another Greek letter, and they made this one equivalent to 4, and the other one is equivalent to 0.25. All in all, they say you will divide this. They say they stole it from a guy called, he's a university professor at Chicago University. He's an economist, and he was in the Obama administration and Biden administration, and actually he made those theories in trade, deficit, taxes, tariffs. They say Trump administration is confused about taxes, tariffs, deficits, and they are like betraying America like a victimized nation, that was taken advantage via by entire planet Earth, and it has nothing to offer to anybody. This they say this will become like one, and this is the trade deficit, and this is changes in imports. I will go. It have been a long time since I did anything in relation to mathematics ولا statistics and stuff like that, and they are talking about such stuff. And everybody, even most every day and night, even the most prominent Trump allies, there are even seven Republicans. Previously, there were five. There were five Republicans who refused to be among those who agreed upon CR, a continuous resolution bill for the funding of the American government and stuff like that. And they say the budget comes from the president, and then it is debated via the senators and those the House and the Congress and stuff like that. And it is debated, and they say they don't have even enough. It is hundreds of thousands of pages, and nobody reads it, and nobody discusses it. And they remove stuff that is very important to group X and Z, and it is even a very wrong budget. And there are seven Republicans, and they are saying tariffs and stuff like that, those policies are not. It is like they are saying there is overlapping of executive branch and the judicial branch and the legislative branch, تنفيذي تشريعي قضائي. All of it are overlapping, and the specializations of one another is stolen from the other. And they said this is tariffs and stuff like that. It is policies. It is made by Congress. It is made by the Congress, and it should remain like that. Actually, Republicans want to make Congress vanish. It does not want Congress to exist. So there is this battle that is going. From here on, I am going to write one article per week. I have to rescue myself and rescue humanity from this place where crimes against humanity are occurring against me. From here on, I am going to make one article per week, only one article and one podcast. I don't have a salary to support myself. I am not going to remain imprisoned in a room, sleeping, studying. Here are the books: studying, writing, cooking, sleeping, praying, reading the Quran. Is this a Holocaust camp? I am not going to live like this. I am unable even to go to the kitchen. Everybody is beating me, and the military is making band marshals ولا معرفش ايه. And I cannot even up, and they are saying we want you dead for refusing evil. I'm not going to remain like this. Anybody around the world rescue me from those criminal enterprises. And they are coercing evil upon me. They are saying do evil and haram stuff. And they are using black magic, and they say if you talk about whatever is being occurring to you, this and that will be done to you, and you will be killed, and you will be taken to unknown place. Rescue humanity. Trump is saying, go vote, and I don't know. He gave in a Republican gathering, and he's telling everybody go vote and do this and that, and he's saying all nations have agreed to my demands, and they are kissing my asses, and they came kissing my ass, and they reversed whatever I was the tariffs I imposed upon them. Even China, it is retaliating with more severe tariffs than the ones imposed via the United States of America. Rescue me, humanity.